Hey guys, welcome to a 1 hour flipping challenge video where we will be starting with 500 mil and we're going to see how much profit we can make in an hour. I know a lot of you have wanted to, oh wow, look at that, a frog random during the intro. Unfortunately, we don't need those dang free-to-play items, they're kind of newbie, so we're going to tell Mr. Frog to get the heck out of here. Anyway, pretty self-explanatory, flipping with 500 mil for 1 hour, let's see how it goes, drop a like if you enjoy. Before we actually go ahead and start the timer, I just wanted to show you guys how I actually prepared for this. I made a little list of what I think I'm going to flip with my 500 mil cash stack during this hour. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to everything, and if I find that something isn't a good margin, of course I'm going to skip it, but here is a general idea of what I am going to be flipping. Alright guys, let's get this started. 1 hour on the clock, 500 mil in the inventory. Let's get going here. We just started the timer and I don't want to waste any time at all, so I'm going to start today flipping the high volume items first. And the reason I want to do that is the high volume items, we want them to go kind of passively in the background while we try to babysit some of these low volume items which have higher margins a little bit more than that. So looks like we're looking at a 20 GP margin on the grimy random right off the bat. I'm gonna go ahead and sink 77.5 mil into that because I am comfortable with how easy that is going to flip. We're also going to list the amethyst crystal next, following the list exactly word for word right now, and we'll see if the margin on the amethyst crystal is good. I know that yesterday it was pretty solid, and it looks like today it's only going to be a 1 GP margin. Gonna keep moving right on. Ranar seeds next. We're gonna go down the list like this and check everything. I'll report back to you guys once I have all the high volume listed. Okay, here is what we will be flipping on our first pass through. Everything here is high volume. I'm actually going to go ahead and put in the dragon arrows on top of this right now. Dragon arrows, one of my favorite high volume flips. We're gonna go ahead, make sure we can find a good margin on this before we do go into it. And it looks like it is good enough, about a 6 GP margin on that. So we'll go ahead and put in 11,000, which is the limit every 4 hours. So we'll let that sit for a while. Now we are going to go progress into the lower volume flips, which should bring us a little bit more profit, but will be slightly more risky. And when I'm actually flipping these items, I'm looking to spread out my risk as much as possible while I am actually listing things. So mixing up high volume and low volume flips at the same time is kind of the best way to make consistent profits. So that's what I'll be trying to do during this hour. And the reason I want to do that is I only have 500 mil, so I have to be really careful with not losing any GP. And even if I am flipping low volume items and doing those margin checks, that cost is sort of going to add up. So I need to make sure I've got my high volume coming in along with my low volume to ensure a stable income stream for a successful flipping session. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it was a little bit rambly, but let's keep it up. Okay, we basically have all the capital deployed. I can talk through the flips a little bit more. These the primordial boots are coming in very quickly, so I'm happy with that. And now we have the crossbows, prim boots, and bandos chest plates coming in, so we cannot be too upset about that. Everything is holding a better margin than I actually expected, and I'm actually happy with that. I think that the flips are going to go through no problem. We are going to cut back on a few of them though, which are typically slower. That way we can actually sell them off in the hour period. It's important that we keep flips cycling through, so I'm going to make sure to focus on that. Just a warning that there is going to be a lot of commentary on this because I want to stay as active as possible during this hour. And I think it will be interesting to actually showcase the profits off stream versus on stream, since it is another hour, which is typically how long I stream my live flipping sessions. Boom, the first flip of the session completed, which was the primordial boots. Looks like I'm already up 181k because the bandos chest plates are selling off as well. So I'm going to turn around and try to get a few more prim boots in here since they did buy and sell very quickly, and I want to capitalize on that as much as possible. Going to move the bandos chest plates into the bandos tassets next, see if I have any luck with those. I have a feeling that they will have a good margin as the bandos chest plate did, and usually items of similar categories or similar armor sets have the same margins most of the time. So if one margin is good, usually the other one is good too, and the tassets are not amazing, so maybe take the words right out of my mouth on that one. I'm keeping a close eye on everything right now. I turned around and started to sell the crossbows because I got 6 of them and they stopped buying, so I thought it was worth just turning that around and trying to get the profit from it. The grimy Ranar weeds are still buying, but the Ranar seeds are a little bit slow, so I might turn around and sell those as well. Decided to list the Armadyl God Swords, which are holding about a 15k margin right now. The Ranar seeds I decided to go ahead and sell because they kind of stopped buying, and I didn't want to hold on to them for too long, just so we could clear up another slot and get another item flipping. Manta Rays, went ahead and listed them for an 8 GP margin, very solid. Primordial Boots not having too much action here. We'll keep a close eye on them. And the Bandos Tassets, I'm going to let those sit for a little bit longer. Also, the Green Dragon Leather might need a price investment as well. Hopefully you guys are not overwhelmed by all of these price updates. I just want to keep it as real as possible in this hour of flipping. We were able to sell the Bandos Tassets after I knocked them down in price just a little bit more. Happy to see that though. We still have a ton of items to go ahead and flip, and the Amulet of Torture is going to be next. Gonna see if these are any good today. I'm hoping they are because they are one of my favorite flips. I flip this all the time with any amount of cash just because it is such a safe and easy flip and usually has a really solid margin. Looks like we're looking at about a 20 to 30k margin on them today, so that is pretty solid. Let's go ahead and list the limit and let them do their thing. We sold our limit of Primordial Boots off. We're up about 600k right now, kind of just maintaining everything, making sure that all of the margins are moving. We don't want to sit on things too long, like I mentioned before, especially when you only have a limited amount of time to flip. So I'm going to keep looking at things, making sure everything is going in the correct direction, and we'll continue the profits. 62 mil, that looks like a great amount to flip the Diamond Dragon Bolts E. Another really solid high volume flip that I like to utilize, especially when I have around 50 mil, because that'll let me flip the entire limit of the Diamond Dragon Bolts E. Unfortunately, only sitting at a 5 GP margin, which is barely worth it in my opinion, but we're gonna go ahead and flip it anyway. Also, quick update on the Green Dragon Leather. It is starting to sell for 1,545 each, so very happy with that. I'm happy we bought them below margin, otherwise we could be fighting a loss right now. All of the God Swords and the leather sold off. Super happy to see that. The leather went extremely fast since the last clip. I'm going to do Brimstone Rings next, see if they have a good margin, and then I'll probably move the other slot into another high volume item. Running up the Dragon Darts next. We already are at a mil in profit, which is outstanding. We still have 40 minutes left, so I think things are going extremely well so far. I think we're going to change the price on the Amulets of Torture, and the reason that is because the Tortures are actually a relatively high volume item for the margin they hold. So we actually need to keep a close eye on this to make sure the margin doesn't get away from us and that we are buying them for the proper price. I decided to turn around and dump the Diamond Dragon Bolts E for a 1 GP profit. I wanted to do that to clear up another slot so we could get something else flipping. The Battle Staves have an insane margin right now, so I'm happy that we actually found that. Guys, things are going outstanding right now. As you can see, we are currently up to 1.6 mil during this episode, and we still have 37 minutes left. The profits could not be better right now, so let's keep it up. I just realized that something is wrong with the flipping tracker. It's not properly tracking my profits, so we're actually not up 1.6 mil yet, so we need to keep a closer eye on that. I'll just manually calculate the profits at the end by taking our final coin stack and comparing it to our 500 mil starting stack. Finish up the Amulets of Torture, very nice, and the Brimstone Rings, look at that. Gonna go find 2 more high margin items for these slots. I just found a really solid opportunity on Archer's Rings, currently buying for 4.53 mil and selling for 4.74 mil, so I'm hoping we can actually hit that. Not super confident, but again, got my fingers crossed, hoping for the best. Oh my goodness, boys, we're actually hitting the margin on the Archer's Rings. Not exactly, but very close to the original margin. I am super excited about that. We only have 3 of them right now, and we sold 1 off. I'm hoping we'll be able to get another 4 bought and sold, but we'll see. Okay, we finished up the Toxic Blowpipes, decided to list the Eternal Boots after that, And one rule that I did forget to mention is by the end of the timer, everything has to be sold. If it is not sold, I have to turn around and dump it immediately and just get whatever I can for it. So any remaining items that still need to be sold will get immediately dumped once the timer hits 0. Thinking more about it now, that entire rule itself is actually going to make this a lot more difficult because I have to time which flips I know will finish in time before the timer actually runs out. So I need to keep that in mind as I'm going along here. That means we'll most likely start to transition into high volume items for the last 10 minutes or so of this flipping session. Hopefully we can get enough high margin stuff in the meantime. I was able to get another 3 archer's rings and they're already starting to sell. Guys, this flip is insane right now. I'm so happy that we got this during the episode. I think this is going to be one of the best flips that we have during this flipping session, but hey, who knows, there could be something a little bit better. Wow, those archer's rings sold again for close to the original margin. I think we can get one more ring, so I'm going to try and do that. Besides that, a lot of movement on everything. Decided to knock the grimy renard weed down a little bit more, and then I turned around and started to sell the mana rays and the dragon darts. We need to keep items cycling here as we only have 22 minutes and 27 seconds left, so we do need to stay on top of things. By the way, guys, this video doesn't really serve as a good example of how long you should let certain items sit. The only reason I'm canceling some of these flips early is because I really need to keep items moving with the time limit that we have. Typically, I would let a lot of this stuff sit a couple minutes longer before I decided to cut back on it. Dragon darts ended up selling, and the mana rays have sold here as well. 153 mil left. Let's get it moving. Only 20 minutes left on the clock. By the way, everything in this video is getting a manual price check. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Everything is kind of stressful right now as we slowly run down the clock here. I'm a little bit stressed out about these Armadillo chain skirts that I got because I did do a margin check on them and we lost about 150k doing that, 160k to be exact. And I actually went ahead and listed 2 of the chain skirts and they basically instantly bought. So this could be kind of bad for these chain skirts here. I'm hoping that if we do take a loss, it's not too much GP and we still keep the gains going strong. Anyway, Bandos God Swords finished up, gonna collect those and put another item up for sale. Flipping the Amulets of Fury to hopefully pick up some easy GP, help cover for the potential loss we're going to take on these chain skirts here. But I have to say, we've been doing pretty good so far as bad flips go. I mean, this is the first one in the session, and we've gone 45 minutes without any big hiccups. So, very happy with that. Also going to keep a close eye on the grimy renard weed as I do want to make sure we sell all of it off before the timer runs out, because otherwise we'll have to dump it and that could be a lot of lost potential on those grimy renard weeds. So I'll be sure to try to follow the margin as closely as possible as we come into the last 16 minutes here. Deciding to double down on my risk here, guys. The Armadillo chain skirts are not really selling, so I decided to do a margin check on the Grazi, which cost us about 400k. Not gonna lie, it was very expensive. Although I will say I have a little bit more confidence in the Grazi than I do the chain skirts, so hoping for the best on both of them. I'll keep you guys up to date. One thing to remember while flipping, guys, is if you do a margin check on an item and you lose money, it is not the end of the world. Try to flip the item, make up for the cost of the flip, and then that way, if you don't want to flip any more of the item, at least your loss has been eliminated or close to eliminated. I just see a lot of new flippers freak out when they margin check an item and lose a lot of GP to the Grand Exchange, but the way I look at it is, look, you're paying to play. If you want to flip on the Grand Exchange, you got to do some margin checks sometimes, and it's going to cost you a little bit of money. All the gains that you've made on the exchange kind of mitigate this. So I call it kind of the pay-to-play model because you will lose a little bit of money at times just to make some. Boom. Both the chain skirts sold though, right after my speech there. And the Grazi coming through as well. Wow, this is an insane session. Let's go ahead, try to get 2 more of those chain skirts going here. Hoping for the best on those. I want to pick up another 2 of them so we can easily turn around and sell them. Of course, we're going to go ahead and do another Grazi. That way we can actually make profit on this one instead of breaking even on the margin check. Wow, we are coming in with some hot flips in the last 12 minutes and 58 seconds. 12 minutes left. We sold off both of the Dragon Warhammers, and I'm trying to pick up another 2 of those. We got both the chain skirts again. Both came in really fast. Probably a little bit nervous on those again, but at least we did make a profit on those first 2, so happy with that. Waiting for another Grazi, gonna cut back on the Archer's Ring, fill this up with something very high volume, just to make sure we can get some side profits while we wait for all of these flips to finish. We are coming up on the last 10 minutes, so I have to make sure I'm not putting in any flips that are gonna take too much time to complete. We were able to buy 1 Dragon Warhammer, and we were able to sell off these stamina potions as well. Running up on the last 10 minutes here, this is way more stressful than I thought it would be. We did also see a 4 GP margin, I believe, yeah, on the Zulrah scales. I might cut that down to a 3 GP margin just to make sure we get everything bought and sold in time. 7 minutes and 35 seconds left. I'm so happy because we just sold another one of the Armadyl chain skirts, which means we'll be able to get them off. Very happy with that. The Zulrah scales are selling for a 3 GP margin, and I need to actually maintenance these grimy Renar weeds. That has been a problem throughout this episode, actually. We're having trouble selling these, so hoping for the best. I really don't want to dump those at the end, so I really want to get them off. Things are a little bit weird right now because I've got a Grazi that I'm trying to sell, and I have 180 mil, which I'm not exactly sure how to properly deploy at this point in time, considering we only have about 7 minutes left. Coming up on the last 4 minutes and 35 seconds, I'm really trying to get this Grazi off because if I don't, it could be a big loss at the end of the episode, which I would really hope I can avoid that. Everything else, I'm literally going to start selling right after this clip because we are coming close to the time cutoff. Air Orbs, Prayer Potions, and Magic Logs finished already. We're going to go ahead and collect those. Wow, we are getting really close here. Please, I'm really hoping that the Armadyl chain skirt and the Grazi will sell at the end here. I'm actually going to knock them down right now just to try to get them off as fast as possible, and at the same time still conserve as much profit as I can. The Grazi, it's going to be close, guys. I really think we might have to end up dumping this. I'm really hoping not, though. So we're slowly hiking it down, seeing what we can get it off for in the last 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I've got the fingers crossed right now. We only have 1 minute and 27 seconds left to sell the rest of these items. Please, by the grace of Saradomin, can we get an item sold off here so we don't have to dump it for a significant loss potentially? I really don't know if the margins have closed on these items, but I will find out soon enough, I guess. So, keeping my fingers crossed, No way! Oh my goodness, we only made a 4K profit on that Grazi flip, but wow, that is extremely lucky. Looks like the only thing we're going to have to dump here is the rest of the Grimy Renar weed and the Armadyl chain skirt if we cannot get lucky in the next couple of seconds. Hey, quick shout out to Saradomin for pulling through on that one. Thank you. 10 seconds left here. As we watch the countdown, I will cancel the items as soon as the timer runs out. Alright, I went ahead and canceled the Grimy Renar weed. I did not think that thing would start beeping. Also canceled the Armadyl chain skirt. Let's go ahead and dump these and see if we lost a lot of money there. Ooh, that's a tough loss. That's going to be about 200k or so. And let's see what we lost on the Grimy Renar weed. Hopefully not too bad on those. Not horrible, but not great at the same time. Looks like, I forget what we bought them for. I think we bought them for a little bit over this. I think it was like 7,020, but again, I cannot exactly remember. Anyway, not the worst performance in the world at all. Let's collect all of this and see how much profit we made. Ooh, 2 mil at the very least. Let's go ahead and expect the cash stack and see how much profit we got exactly. Wow, that's pretty solid, not gonna lie. We started this episode with 500 mil flat with an hour on the clock, and we finished the episode with 502 mil, 643,048 GP. Really cannot be ashamed with that performance. Anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy this episode. Honestly, it was really intense. I've never done an hour flipping challenge before, so there probably is more to come in the future because I had a blast recording this. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy watching, be sure to drop a like. It really does help me out a lot. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this. I'm always bringing flipping content and flipping live streams to the channel for you guys to enjoy, so hopefully you have been enjoying all the effort so far. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you all next time.